CarMax just set off a warning so big, it's shaking the entire automotive industry to its core. This isn't just about one company's earnings miss or a bad quarter on Wall Street. What we're witnessing is the unraveling of an entire system that's been in place for nearly a century. Car dealerships, auto retailers, and even long-trusted used car giants are suddenly staring at a future they're not prepared for. And at the center of this storm sits Amazon, a company that's about to dismantle the way Americans buy cars in the same way they destroyed bookstores, electronics shops, and big box retailers. But before we get into how Amazon is rewriting the rules of the car game, let's look at what just happened to CarMax, because their latest results don't just reveal weakness, they scream collapse. CarMax recently posted results that blindsided Wall Street. Earnings tumbled, expenses climbed, and the company's stock plummeted faster than most analysts thought possible. For decades, CarMax was considered the safe alternative to sketchy dealerships, offering no haggle pricing, better transparency, and a smoother experience for buyers. But now, that model is crumbling. Take Tom, an everyday investor who believed CarMax stock was a safe bet. Just last week, he watched $12,000 vanish from his portfolio in a single day. And he isn't alone. Millions of Americans who trusted CarMax are suddenly realizing that the company they thought was bulletproof is bleeding out. The truth is, this wasn't just a bad earnings report. It was a warning shot to the entire auto industry, a signal that the old way of selling cars is collapsing faster than anyone predicted. And what's driving this collapse? Not just economic downturn, not just higher interest rates, but a rival that's been quietly preparing to take over. Amazon's move into car sales seemed simple on the surface, a partnership with Hertz to sell certified pre-owned vehicles directly on their platform. But what looked like a minor announcement was actually the opening shot of a full-scale war. You see, Amazon has been studying the car market for years. They weren't rushing into this decision. They were waiting for the perfect moment, when consumer frustration with dealerships was at its peak, when technology could support nationwide vehicle delivery, and when traditional players like CarMax were already weakened. That moment is now. And the reason dealers are panicking isn't just because Amazon is entering the space. It's because Amazon is entering with weapons no dealer, no CarMax, no Carvana has ever had before. Global logistics mastery, unmatched customer trust, and the ability to operate at a loss for years just to capture market share. Traditional retailers simply can't compete. To understand why Amazon's move is so devastating, you need to look at the consumer experience. Americans hate buying cars. Study after study ranks it as one of the most stressful experiences in modern life, right up there with dentist visits. On average, buying a car at a dealership takes 4.5 hours. Financing, paperwork, games, hidden fees, and relentless upselling. Sarah from Denver summed it up perfectly. She said, "I spent 6 hours at 3 different dealerships just trying to buy a simple Honda Accord. Financing games, pressure tactics, and add-ons I didn't want. If Amazon lets me buy a car like I buy everything else, just a few clicks, transparent pricing, I'll never step into a dealership again." And she's not alone. Mike from Arizona described his last experience as a psychological war. He knew the car he wanted. He had financing pre-approved. Yet it still took 6 exhausting hours, with every trick in the book thrown at him. Extended warranties, paint protection, gap insurance he didn't need. This is the battlefield Amazon has chosen to enter, a battlefield where consumers are desperate for a savior. And Amazon is positioning itself as exactly that. When Amazon announced its car sales partnership, the reaction was immediate. CarMax stock plunged 18% in a single day. Carvana, already struggling, fell 22%. Even major dealership chains, protected for decades by franchise laws, watched billions in value evaporate overnight. Wall Street saw what most consumers missed. The game just changed. The laws, the protections, the market share, all meaningless when a company like Amazon decides to play. Dealers felt betrayed. For years, they relied on state laws to shield them from direct-to-consumer disruption. But Amazon found a loophole. Those protections only apply to new cars sold by manufacturers. Amazon isn't a manufacturer. They're selling used cars. And in that world, the dealer protections don't exist. It's like building a fortress to protect against an army, only to be invaded by an air force you didn't see coming. Let's break down why Amazon's entry terrifies every dealership in America. First, logistics. Amazon moves 13 billion packages every year. Cars are just bigger packages with wheels. They already have the trucks, the warehouses, the tracking systems. Scaling from electronics to vehicles is a natural extension of what they've perfected for decades. Second, trust. When Amazon says your package arrives Tuesday, it arrives Tuesday. Dealers, on the other hand, are notorious for delays, excuses, and broken promises. In an industry built on mistrust, Amazon's reputation is gold. Third, data. Amazon knows what you buy, when you buy, and what you're likely to buy next. That predictive power extends to cars. They'll know when your lease is about to end or when your family outgrows your current vehicle. Sometimes before you even realize it yourself. As one analyst put it, this isn't David versus Goliath. This is David with a nuclear weapon. If you need proof that customers will pay for convenience, just look at Carvana. Their vehicles often cost $2,000 to $3,000 more than similar cars at traditional dealers. And yet, millions chose Carvana anyway, because it meant skipping the dealership circus. Jennifer from California admitted she paid $2,500 extra for a car just to avoid the haggling and manipulation. Her words, worth every penny. Now imagine Amazon offering that same convenience, but with lower prices. Carvana proved people will pay more to avoid stress. Amazon is about to prove they don't have to. That combination, convenience and cost savings, is deadly for traditional players. Tesla already showed that people prefer direct buying. No dealerships, no markups, no pressure. Customers configure their cars online, lock in pricing, and get delivery without ever stepping into a dealership. Tesla's customer satisfaction numbers crushed traditional dealers. But Tesla had limitations: production capacity, state franchise laws, and slow rollout. Amazon has none of those weaknesses. They aren't manufacturing cars, they're distributing them. And they aren't bound by the same laws that restricted Tesla. Dealers who once thought franchise protections made them untouchable are realizing those protections mean nothing against Amazon. The rules of the game don't even apply to this new player. Behind the corporate headlines lies a darker truth. Small, independent dealers, the backbone of local communities, are being squeezed out. One Ohio Chevrolet dealer admitted, "Used cars are where we make real money. New cars barely break even. If Amazon takes used car profits, we're finished." Another dealer in Arizona confessed, "I survived the 2008 recession and the pandemic, but I can't survive Amazon. They can sell at cost while I need profit to feed my family." This is the human cost of disruption. Decades-long careers erased overnight, small businesses shuttered, and local jobs vanishing. The efficiencies consumers cheer for come with consequences many don't see. CarMax isn't blind. They see what's happening. They've been pivoting toward online sales, trying to modernize, but they face an impossible battle. Unlike Amazon, CarMax carries the burden of physical locations, massive overhead, and a business model that depends on profits from every sale. They can't afford to lose money for years just to win market share. Amazon can and will. As one former CarMax executive admitted, "We always knew someone would disrupt us the way we disrupted dealers. We just didn't think it would be Amazon." That honesty captures the irony perfectly. CarMax built its empire by being better than dealerships. Now Amazon is about to prove it can be better than CarMax. Think about this. Dealerships survived the Great Depression, World War II, oil crises, and countless recessions. Yet the one thing they can't survive is efficiency. A historian put it bluntly, "We're witnessing the end of a system that lasted a century." Explaining dealerships to future generations will sound as primitive as explaining Blockbuster Video. The lots, the showrooms, the service bays, relics of a system built on inefficiency. Amazon's model makes them obsolete. So, what does this mean for you? First, expect transparent pricing. Haggling is dying. With Amazon forcing transparency, every seller will follow or be left behind. Second, expect the buying process to be streamlined. Choose your car online, arrange financing, and schedule delivery, all without wasting weekends at dealerships. Third, expect better service. For the first time, dealerships won't be able to take customers for granted. Competition will force them to improve or vanish. And, in the longer run, expect car ownership itself to decline. When mobility becomes as easy as ordering dinner, many Americans will rethink the idea of owning depreciating assets. A consumer advocate summed it up best. Amazon's entry will benefit consumers more than any law or regulation ever could. Competition works better than legislation. CarMax's $4.7 billion warning wasn't just about one company's bad quarter. It was a glimpse into the end of an entire way of doing business. The dealership era is over. The platform era has begun. Amazon isn't asking permission. They're not waiting for laws to catch up. They're reshaping the market on their own terms. And the only question that matters is this: when the dust settles, will you be on the side of the disrupted or the disruptors? Amazon isn't asking permission. They're not waiting for laws to catch up. They're reshaping the market on their own terms. And the only question that matters is this: when the dust settles, will you be on the side of the disrupted or the disruptors? Because make no mistake, the revolution in car buying has already begun. And those who fail to adapt will be remembered the same way we remember Blockbuster: outdated, irrelevant, and gone.